Hello everyone, my name is Saye and welcome to this episode of Saye-san Studio. Today I want to make some hand-tied bouquets and I thought, hey, let's make a video out of this. I'm going to be making two different styles and they're both inspired by a workshop that I had yesterday in which I created this beautiful bouquet. The supplies you're going to need is a bucket of water to hold your floral material, as well as waterproof floral tape that you can get in craft stores. Also gardening shears to cut your plant material, and something decorative for the finishing touch. What's specific about this is I'm going to use materials from my own garden. And the garden is looking pretty ratty. You don't believe me? Let's go take a look. I wasn't kidding when I told you my backyard is looking pretty shabby. You can see it's the end of September and there's not much growing except those black-eyed Susans. And the front yard is not looking much better. I do have lavender, but I want to leave that for the bees. But before I start picking any flowers, let's take a look at what a bouquet usually has. The bouquet that I made for the workshop yesterday had round forms. Those were the rose and carnation. It also had line material, which was Japanese barberry and ruscus. And finally, something to tie both of those forms together was transitional material in the form of berries and goldenrod. So taking a look in my garden, I can see this obedient plant is line material, while this hydrangea is actually a round form. And maybe the thing I have the most, this cutleaf coneflower, unfortunately very susceptible to damage, doesn't hold up well. And the goldenrod is filled with bees who are using it as a last source of nectar. I can't take that. So I look some more and the phlox is looking kind of shabby, but hey, this aster is fantastic. And also the stone crop is looking really good and I have so much of it. So that's going to be my main round form. And another surprise is this wormwood silver mound, which is looking pretty straggly, but is perfect for me because it's got that nice transition look of a silver foliage. So I grab a bucket and water and shears because I want to put anything I cut right into water to keep it as fresh as possible. And I use a technique called conditioning to make sure they stay fresh really long. And this means I remove all the extra branches and leaves so the plant doesn't have to focus on feeding those. I cut the base at an angle, maybe even make a slit in it. And then I use this material called Chrysal. It's a little packs that come in when you buy a florist bouquet, and add water. And this is going to help those branches look fresh longer. The bouquet from my garden is going to feature the round form as a sedum. I'll use Japanese barberry as line material and the wormwood and aster as my transitional material. But the very first step you have to do is to cut yourself a piece of floral tape. You'll see why. The way I make a bouquet is first establish a pinch point. This is the point that you're going to hold tightly, and it's going to be the same throughout the entire process. The trick to this whole style of making a bouquet is that you don't let go of that point for any reason. And all your flowers and their stems are going to fan out from that point. And you can start seeing why. I actually find that once I have a little bit more, it's easier to hold than just a few branches. And you keep adjusting the positions and you can tuck things in. And soon it turns into a really large bouquet. And you can keep tweaking it as long as you have a tight grip on that pinch point. I remember the tape. This is what's going to hold it all together. And you can continue to adjust it, but you just cut the branches down to an even length. Nice. Little bit of tweaking here and there, and you're good to go. Now, the herb bouquet is a similar process, but remember what I said about round form? Don't necessarily need it. I'm going to add a lot of line material in the form of rosemary, lavender, and sage, and have transitional material like borage and aster. My final touch is going to be a twine bow. But the process is exactly the same. You'll start off by establishing a pinch point and fanning out from it, and to create this kind of a round spherical form. This has to be my favorite bouquet of all. It was so aromatic. I think I'm going to start a tradition of making one throughout summer and just having it at the corner of the kitchen. It was just so lovely. I did put a couple of lavenders in there finally, and of course remember, you gotta have that tape ready for you. And the last bit is cleaning out the little bits and pieces from the stem, and I'm gonna wrap this one up with a nice twine bow and fan it out and stand it up somewhere. Well, that was a fantastic experience. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed working on these hand-tied bouquets. It's a technique I plan on using again in the future. Whether it's giving a gift when you go to a dinner party, whether it's making an arrangement for your own house, there's just so much potential with this. Now, if you liked what you saw, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And until the next time, hope you make lots of beautiful bouquets.